We're live, you can start.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Double on Our Body Transformation podcast. Today we got a really special guest, a client, a good friend of mine, and a dating coach as well. And today we're going to be picking his brains on the topic of does being in shape get you girls? Because a large chunk of dudes, large chunk of men, it's no secret that they want to get in shape to impress the opposite sex. I mean, hell, I used to be in that same boat as well, right? So it's not as simple as a black and white sort of a yes and no, but the answer is it depends. And this is where the speciality of my dear friend comes in the picture, basically. So, yeah, let's get right in. But before we just get started, Robert, would you like to introduce yourself as to what exactly you do?
Yeah, I can do like a short intro. So I'm Roberts, or Saint Robert is my sort of like the pseudonym or whatever. A good
Yeah.
church boy, and I teach guys how to meet women in all the everyday situations. You're walking down the grocery store, you see a beautiful girl picking out her favorite cereal, and how do you start chatting with her, or a girl in a coffee shop on a street, or all these regular situations. And I specialize in teaching these things in a very sort of step-by-step technical way, where instead of just saying, hey, go talk to the girl, and how do you do that? I teach you guys exactly how to do step by step, and I've been doing that for 7.5 years now. Actually, I realized it's been 7.5 years. Yeah, all over the world with guys from USA, Canada, Australia, Hong Kong, all over Europe, Switzerland. One dude from Dubai as well, actually. I know a lot of your audience is from Dubai. So, yeah, so that's what I do.
Yeah. God, it's been 7.5 years since you've not been living in your apartment, right?
No, it's been 7.5 since I've been coaching full time.
Yeah.
I did 5 years of nomadic lifestyle, but
Yeah.
I ended that around a year ago because, no, around 6 months ago, 6-ish months ago, because, once you've been to so many places, it stops bringing me joy. And I understood that being in one place brings me more joy. It lets me enjoy my hobbies, time with friends, family, and things like that.
Yeah. Fair. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, yeah, thanks for that. And let's get stuck right in, basically. So, first of all, I want to ask you, right? You mentioned this, like, does being in shape actually get you girls? And you mentioned this, like, if you got like a bit of a small belly and your extra weight is not visible with clothes on, does it matter? Does it not matter? I wanted to pick your brains around that, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, so I always, because to understand why I know a little bit about this, you have to understand a bit about how I coach people. I meet with people, a lot of the people in person, and we go out in the streets, and I push them to approach women. I tell them how to do that, and I see the results in real life, in real time. So I've seen many. I've done this with many guys in different parts of the world, and so I've seen how guys who are in different fitness levels, what types of reactions they get with women. And I realized that if we're talking about, hey, women will really not want to talk to you if you're out of shape, that is true if the guy's obese. Like, you would have to apply a label obese. Yeah, if he's a little bit out of shape, like doesn't have any pack, he's like a one pack, yeah. Or like he enjoys an occasional slice of pizza or whatever. He's not going to the gym, but he's not. He's out of shape, but he's not fat. You cannot see that really when he's like fully dressed. He doesn't look fat. He just looks, like an average dude. It's not as important as people would like to believe. On the other hand, if people are really overweight, if it's visible that you are overweight while you're fully dressed, then that is much more important. Like, if some people think it's not important, it's really important. I've seen what a rejection looks like because a guy is doing something wrong in the way he's communicating with the girl. And I've seen the rejections guys who are obese get, and that there is a slight difference in the face of the woman when she rejects the guy, and the face is the same if they really don't like the guy. It's the same face you get, like some guys who are obese, they get this face, but then sometimes guys who are way older, again, you can get, a good dating life in different ages, but there are girls who are going to reject you because you're older or because you're obese, and the look in their face is the same. So yeah, that's for obese. But if it's a slight belly, I would say in terms of how women are perceiving you, it doesn't really matter. It's sort of like a girl thinking about, hey, will he reject me just because my ass isn't that fit? Like your ass isn't visible unless you're naked.
Hmm.
Or will he reject me because I don't know how to cook? Like, it's probably gonna take a while for a guy to realize that the girl, doesn't cook or doesn't know how to cook, if that's even important for the guy. Different people,
Yeah.
different priorities. So yeah, if she does, she will only see you naked later, so it's not gonna affect your chances to if you're talking about getting laid specifically, it's not gonna change your odds. Yeah.
Yeah. But also, does it also go the other way around? Let's probably say if the guy looks like a really skinny dude, like a Brooklyn-looking faggot, basically, who's right, right, who's like a Brooklyn-looking faggot, basically, who is um, I don't know how do I say this, like who like smokes weed all day, right? Eats one meal a day, talks about preaching to his chakras and all of that, right? And has got like no presence, but is extremely skinny. Like that also goes the other way around. Like it's the girl might also have this like ugh, a guy with like no presence, who can't really protect me. Right? If that makes perfect
Wait,
sense.
and then if you're talking about like there is a vibe in the persona that you're describing. There is a vibe there. That guy can do okay as well. It's just,
Yeah.
does he have can he talk to people? If he's walking around like that and he's being all gloomy and negative and depressed, well, no, then obviously, sorry, no one
Hmm.
likes that. Yeah, dudes don't like that, chicks don't like that, with exceptions. Here, by the way, we're talking about generalizations. There are always exceptions, yeah?
Yeah.
So a guy like that, it kind of, if the right vibe is there, a guy like that can definitely do better than an obese guy for sure. No, no, no. You can put him in the same category as an average guy. If that's his persona, the artsy pothead or whatnot, like that guy can do good actually.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. So that probably brings me to the other point, right? Um, let's probably say a guy, in your words, okay, he doesn't have good game, right? But ends up developing good game, right? He's gonna do well, even if he is. Oh wait, there are tons of like obese dudes who have like who are like the video game types, like the party heads, right? But they end up doing good. That probably brings me to that inner game, but they're still gonna be losing out a fair share of women, basically, because of the fact that they're overweight, right? Now,
Yeah.
let's probably say if a guy is overweight and he's got no game, but he ends up losing the weight as a result of which his self esteem gets better, and as a byproduct of which his game gets better. So indirectly, him getting in shape impacts his self esteem, which actually impacts his game as a result. What's your
Yeah.
take on that?
Yeah, definitely. This is very important. So the difference between the examples of the obese guy or the skinny guy, yeah, the skinny guy, if he's insecure in life and about how he looks, and he's not gonna do good. Whereas if he owns the persona and he's like a very outgoing positive dude, he's gonna do good. He's not gonna get rejected just because he's like a skinny, whatever. Yeah, that's totally
Hmm.
fine. But yeah, but if a guy loses his weight and improves his confidence because of that, yes, that is actually very important. Then he will be walking around differently instead of, hiding from the world and being afraid because, oh my God, I don't look okay. And yeah, so that is a big thing. Improving your confidence, that is very, very important.
Yeah. So, like, one thing that I've noticed that you do with your students is you teach them to go out and put themselves, go out and put themselves out there, regardless of how they look. Basically, I mean, yes, you do preach to like you do preach them to fix their fashion, their fitness, etc. But you teach them how to have tight game and be charismatic under their not so great situations, right? Let's probably say you meet an overweight dude, basically, not like an obese dude, but an overweight dude, right? You go like, regardless of how the hell you look, you still got to go and You still got to go and approach. You still got to go out on a lot of dates, basically. Because if you cultivate that skill of having good game under not so great situations, when you do fix your value, those traits are going to shine even more. Like, what's your take on that? Like, what men should do first, basically?
Uh, First of all, if I would if I when I would have someone who's very obese and who wants to get coaching, I will explain that they're starting from a very big disadvantage. And I would actually, when it comes to being really obese, I would suggest dealing with that first and improving your dating skills later. I would not suggest start. I would not wanna, because I wouldn't feel good taking money from that person, knowing that it would be 3 times harder, 5 times harder than an average dude. So let's
Yeah,
that's if you're obese, deal with that. Yeah. But if you're, again, like I was before we started working with you, like
yeah,
I was like 20 something percent body fat, chubby face. Now that I compare my face now and before, oh my God. Yeah. But that's okay. So you can take a guy like that and you can teach him how to talk to women, how to behave on dates and all of those things, step by step. He can do very okay. Uh, he can start with developing his dating skills. That's fine. But and but later, yeah, he can definitely do all the fitness stuff. And I think it is important if you want to improve your general health. And I think there are a few things guys want to get in check in their life. They want to get their finances in check. They want to get they want to look good, and they want to have amazing women or a woman around them. It's just they have to decide on what order are they going to do these things in. And I think depending on what physical shape you're in, you then are gonna, pick whether, hey, do I start with dating or do I start with my physical shape? Because you
mm-hmm.
can't do both at the same time
Yeah, yeah,
for the first year. Each of them takes a lot of time. Getting in shape will take a lot of time. Uh, everyone around me looks at me, waiting everything I eat, and they're like, "How can you do this?" Like to me, it's so on autopilot. It doesn't really matter, but it wasn't an autopilot in the beginning. It took quite a bit of work for like the first few weeks, first month, and then gym takes no, gym takes me 1.5 hours each time. That's like 5 hours a week, and then plus, I'm going for a walk because of the steps. So it takes a lot of time. And with dating, it's the same thing. If you want to get really good with women, it's going to take you 6 to 12 months of dedicated work, just as much as gym. So when you're starting, I mean, it's hard to do both at the same time. You have to pick one, solve that for at least like 6 to 12 months, and then do the other one.
yeah. And then over time, like you got to establish a sweet spot between the two, and that's when you hit the. But that nirvana,
Yeah.
all of that comes later, right? Like 2 or 3 years
Yeah.
later, basically. Got it.
I would say if, for example, if for guys who start with dating, they have to be very dedicated for like 6 to 12 months, and I think once they get to a certain threshold, they can chill a little bit, and they will have more free time. Like for example, we have a client that like a mutual client who is working with
Yeah,
me and with you, but he worked with me for more than 6 months before I said, okay, like you should work with Yash and get in shape. Yeah. And I think with fitness, it's the same way. You have to get in a routine. You have to make it like a really big part of your life. You're like, okay, this is so casual to me now. I'm so used to this now that whatever, I can add dating to my life now.
yeah. So what you're trying to say is like, let's probably say if a guy comes to you who wants to optimize his dating life, right? If he's in an, if yeah, he's unfit but not like obese, basically, like with regards to our mutual client, right? Or like let's probably say when you first started, 20% body fat, like with clothes on, like yeah, it's fine basically. So you got to go down the route where you develop your game to like to such a level that it's it ends up becoming a value delivery mechanism. And once when it becomes a value delivery mechanism, then you can chill out a little bit and actually work in your value, and then do that for the next few months, and then you find the sweet spot between the two. If that makes perfect sense. That's like the roadmap that you.
Yeah, pretty much because, if someone is, let's say you're doing okay in life, you've established your business, you're having interesting hobbies, you're leading an interesting life, and you're, more or less in shape, you're not really out of shape, then you're already like realistically looking, you're a top guy. Like stop looking at Instagram and comparing yourself to others. If you look at the general population, you're a top level guy, and then adding dating skills on top of that is just to get a fair shot at the dating market without, giving gifts or spending money on women. Just, hey, let's have like it gives you a shot to have like an honest conversation with the girl where she's interested and you're interested. So yeah, value
Mhm.
delivery mechanism show that, hey, I'm actually a really cool guy. And yeah.
Got it, got it, got it. Now, obviously, you had a phase where you did live like a bit of a degenerate, basically, and like whilst having an amazing dating life, and you also had a phase where you were like super healthy, right, as you are currently right now, and still have an amazing dating life, basically. Can you explain the pros and the cons in both the phases, basically, as to what you experienced, right? And like one is not better than the
Oh
other,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. I think
Let's start off with
if
the degeneracy, basically, because the
yeah,
listeners
let's
would love
start with
to listen to the story.
degeneracy. So when you get in that dating lifestyle, and like you wanna, let's say a lot of people that I work with, they eventually they want to have a beautiful relationship. But before
Yeah,
they get there, they want to improve their dating skills and, like improve the quality of women that's around them and, have a bit of fun, so to say, for like a year or two. And then they want to find like a really beautiful woman, not just beautiful, interesting, cool that they click with and want to start a relationship with.
yeah,
But during that, a year, two, three, whatever, while you start going on a lot of dates, and each date is obviously a few drinks, and it's like once you become decent, you have like three, four dates a week, and some of those dates end with like she wasn't sure this is too fast, and she's at your place, and you have to take your time, and by the time you go to bed, it's like 6 a.m., 4 a.m., 2 a.m., whatever,
yeah,
and. So let's say you have like four dates a week, and two of them end like that, and of course you don't have to do that. You can do it more peacefully, and then you go to bed at like midnight or whatever. That's possible, but it's tempting. That lifestyle is tempting, and you start doing all these wild things and so many dates, and you start doing, hey, I can do this, I can sleep with this girl, that girl, hey, I can do a threesome, and you start doing a lot of crazy stuff. And I did a lot of crazy stuff, especially when you travel and you go to all these parties and so much drinking and weed and other things once in a while, and the pros of that is just it's a very fun lifestyle. You get to have that, like, to people who like it, you get to have the degeneracy of like sex, alcohol, wherever if you're living in a place where that's legal, drugs. It's just you get to experience all of it. And but the important part there is there are people who get stuck in that lifestyle. There are big dating coaches who have been doing that for years, and they travel around the world, and they're living an incredibly unhealthy lifestyle and doing crazy amounts of drugs and being in very dangerous places. And it's just you have to get out of that lifestyle. You can't get stuck in a loop. So that's the risk. That's the con of that lifestyle. Yeah. By the way, I
yeah,
sound like a junkie. I don't do drugs, just so we're clear. I'm talking about the
yeah,
lifestyle in general. Yeah, doing
yeah,
Molly a few times doesn't count. Um, so there is this risk. So it does have a lot of pros. Cons is, you eat a lot of pizzas and burgers, and you have to learn to control that. Um,
you end up in
Cons,
really
you know, uh,
risky situations as well, right?
sorry.
You ended up in really risky situations as well, right?
Yeah, I've been in some places, some situations,
Yeah.
where you
Mhm.
didn't know what you're doing because you're in a place where you didn't understand the rules, maybe of the environment you're in. So that's one. And of course, if you get your blood work done, as I had to, because I had to get a course of antibiotics in Ukraine after being
Yeah,
very irresponsible with some Ukrainian girls. I had to
yeah,
do a lot of antibiotics, and I went to a doctor, and the doctor looked at my blood work. And I was smoking a lot of weed back then, and he basically said, "Hey, dude, like you're not far from being at a level where you won't be able to have kids. So it's sort of like, hey, get your shit together." And I was like, okay, like
hmm,
I want to have kids. I should start thinking about the relationship. And it was like a big aha moment. And now I've been living super healthy for. We started working with you last October, I think. So it's 11
December,
months. I've been super
November,
healthy.
December. Yeah,
I
October,
think
November.
October-ish, right when I was on my way to Argentina, right before Argentina, we started like a week before Argentina, so I think late October. So it's, 10-ish months right now. And for the last, I don't know how many months, like my average alcohol consumption is like one beer in 2 weeks, maybe,
Uh-huh.
like something like that. I don't drink. I don't smoke weed anymore because I want to have a kid. So and smoking weed doesn't really go hand in hand with sperm quality. So I've given up a lot of stuff for the healthier lifestyle. So and with that, I sleep better. I feel better. I have energy. I don't need to take naps every day. I used to have to take a nap every day. All day. I was just tired. And now, sleep is amazing. I feel great. I have energy. It's just nothing like, something sometimes hurts, but not like back then. Uh, yeah, so that's a big pro right now. I haven't gotten my blood work done for a while, but I'm thinking to do that around December.
Yeah.
So we'll see what's happening there after, almost a year of very healthy living.
Yeah. And like obviously every now and then, like you might still do some game because you just want to warm up the skills. Basically, you just want to keep your skill warm, right? So
Yeah, I'll go on a trip here and there, or,
yeah,
d- chat with girls when I'm coaching a student, for example.
yeah. So let's probably say when you just do these demo approaches in order, like just to showcase it to a student, basically. Do you find yourself like, and this is me not trying to put myself on a high horse and all of that, basically, but do you find yourself like game being like more easier right now when you're healthier compared to what you got to say, your presence, etc., on the set, basically, uh, compared to the degeneracy days, basically? Do you get my question?
Not honestly, not really, because if you're social and confident enough, like it doesn't change. Like that part doesn't like it's not what changes your results if their confidence and skills are there. If you're just starting out to improve your dating life and you're insecure about how you look, then yes, it will change the results. Yeah, it will matter. Yeah. But
Mm-hmm.
if you're confident already, it's not that. But confident with like because you have gotten results and not because you're just a, you know,
Yeah,
cocky, arrogant.
got it, got it, got it, got it. That makes perfect sense. Cool, man. Now, also wanted to ask you, like in your experience, right? You coached a lot of guys, like a lot of guys. Like I know that about you. I've seen some of the guys you've coached, and I'm like, some of them are fucking hell, bloody good looking, right? You can do some really good damage, and they're quite shit with their game, right? Now, I want to ask you, like, in your experience, have you seen a jacked, good looking, who's ridiculously fit guy do well? Obviously, this is self answered with regards to what we've seen, but can you just give us some examples, basically? Be it when they first approach the girl or on a
yeah,
date, right?
yeah. Let's put it like that. If someone is good looking and with good style and in shape, they might have no skills with women. But they can talk to dudes, they can talk to other people. They're not, there are no mental issues hiding behind
Yeah,
that where they can't talk to people at all. Yeah, we're not talking about cases like that. We're talking about it's a normal dude, everything is okay in his life. He just doesn't know his dating life is complete crap. Maybe even he's a virgin for yeah, could be. But
yeah,
he's a good looking in shape, yeah. It's very easy to coach a guy like that because the looks are there, the confidence is there. They if everything else is the same, like the better looking guy will do better. Like it's just
yeah,
with the same level of skills when it comes to dating. Of course, if we take hey, we take guys who both look the same and one of them has good communication skills with women, the other one doesn't. Obviously, the one with the skills is going to win. And we take an average looking guy and a really good looking guy, and the really good looking guy has bad communication skills with women and the average looking guy has good communication skills with women. The average guy is going to do way better than the really good looking guy. It's just hands down. It's not, and it's not even close. You can have a really good looking guy who's like has a six pack and everything, but if he's really, really insecure and can't, like, he just doesn't know how to talk to women, it
yeah,
doesn't work, Unless he bumps into a girl who likes him. That's why there is this stereotype that really good-looking guys do better because yes, there are women who just like them and who chose them. Like they're sort of pre-selected where the girl is like, hey, I like that guy, I want to date that guy, but they don't have the ability to pick the girls they want to go out with.
Ah, okay. So, and in that particular case, right, and like women rarely make the first move. I mean, rarely, yeah. Like, regardless, even if you're Leonardo DiCaprio, unless and until you're Leonardo DiCaprio, basically, or even if you're Leonardo DiCaprio, who's like a, I'm just gonna rate Leonardo DiCaprio because I know you don't like it when we rate women, basically. But Leonardo DiCaprio in the market is more of like a 10, right, or like 11, basically.
Not anymore. He's old,
Yeah,
But
but still, he's more of like a 9 or a 10, right? So the
for a
women
gold
are
digger,
probably,
yeah.
yeah, but like the women who are going to pick him, who are going to go out of their way to pick him, basically, will usually be like, I don't know, like, yeah, they might be good looking, but they might be like, in the rating system, they might be below him, if that makes perfect sense. And that's why they will probably. What's your take on that?
They will want something that he has, the fame, the connections, the money, but they're not going out with him because of the personality. You take someone who is like Leonardo DiCaprio, but doesn't have, you know, um, the problem with an example like this is the women who are interested might not be the women that the average guy actually wants to date. Like, would you want to date these girls for fun? Damn, yeah, they're hot and everything, yeah, sleep with them, enjoy that, yeah, that's cool. But if you're looking for a relationship, that's not who you want to go out with. That's sort of the problem with guys who think that good looks and money is all they need. It's sort of a Dubai problem, right? Like,
Yeah,
you have
yeah,
a
yeah,
lot
yeah.
of women interested in things you have or the things you could provide or the connections you might kind of bring for them, yeah, but they're not interested in you as a personality if as a person, if unless you're bringing these things to the table. So it's sort of like a slippery slope. It's a risky situation with the kind of Leonardo DiCaprio type of things.
Got it, got it, got it, got it. That makes it really clear. So, just to summarize, right? Like a good-looking guy. If you're coaching like a good-looking guy, right? He is gonna get like a lot of women to stop if he were to stop them. But in order for him to retain them, that's when the charm comes inside the picture. That's when the charisma comes in the picture. That's when the confidence and the belief, like yes, I can secure her, etc., comes inside the picture. Whereas an average-looking guy might not really get a lot of prospects to stop, basically, but he, with the right confidence, etc., when he does get someone to stop, he's going to be lethal compared to the good-looking guy without game, basically, right?
Yeah, not lethal, but they're gonna be, like
Yeah. Okay. No, not
it's gonna
lethal.
be
That's just the
better.
word
It's gonna be
moderation.
better. They're both gonna do okay. They're both gonna do okay because the confident guys, they have their problems. They're overly confident. Because of that, they're sometimes not willing to do the work that the average looking guy is willing to do a lot of work. They're used
Absolutely.
to things being handed to them, and it's a different problem. But yeah.
Got it. Got it. Now, like a lot of guys also come to you usually after a divorce, right? Or right, or I mean, or after they let the foot off the gas. Basically, by letting the foot off the gas, it's not like uh, you flirting with other women just because you got in a relationship or something like that. I don't mean by that. But let's probably say they finally find a good woman whom they can let their inner child out or whatever the fuck you want to call it, right? And can be themselves with. But in the process, they end up neglecting themselves. Now, by neglecting themselves, I mean they might get needy. They might become a fat fuck, right? They might, right? Um, so let's probably say you're obviously not a relationship expert, right? You teach
Yeah.
men how to meet women, not like
Start
uh,
up to starting a relationship. Yeah.
after
Afterwards,
starting a
that's where
relationship.
the therapists come in. I'm not an
Yeah,
expert. Yeah.
yeah. So like, just a disclaimer: Robert's not an expert, basically. But in your experience, how important is it for a guy to keep his hobbies in check, his fashion, his fitness, and his own values in check when he gets inside a relationship? And should he neglect it? Should he not neglect it? Because a relationship is also about compromising to a large degree and also emotionally supporting the other person to help them achieve their goals and their values as well, just like how you do for your girlfriend, basically, right? So, How important is it for a guy to not let the foot off the gas in that perspective? Do you get what I'm trying to say with regards to my question?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That is very, very important because this is sort of like the mistake guys sometimes make, where especially in the first relationships where they get so obsessed with the girl and so all lovey-dovey that they stop doing their hobbies, they stop meeting their friends, they stop doing it. Everything they do is just with their girlfriend, and that's their whole life. And it can be suffocating. And I'm saying this not because I read a study on this, yeah, because I sometimes have guys sending me, "Oh, this is a peer-reviewed study proving the opposite of what you're saying." What I'm saying is stuff that I've seen for guys to work, or stuff that I hear women complain about, women that I've maybe dated. I hear them complain about this. Um, so yes, I've heard a lot of women after they break up with the guys, like, yes, this is what they complain about. So, oh yeah, he was like, he's like so needy, and he's like almost suffocating the girl, and gave up his, whatever. Like he was an interesting dude living an interesting life, and all of a sudden he gives up all of his, like, he doesn't surf anymore. He doesn't, do the, I don't know what his hobbies are. He just has the girl, and that's it. It's a terrible idea, of course. You lose your personality. This is, by the way, if you look if you read books by by therapists as well, or there was the book James Saxton or something like that, the divorce lawyer. He wrote a book and about things he is seen as a divorce lawyer, and he said that one of the big things is that couples, they kind of they lose their personality when they are in a relationship. They get all observed, or after having kids. Again, I'm not an expert, I'm just saying what I've read
Yeah.
in books by experts. Is they get so observed with the kid that they lose each other because of that. They just get so absorbed by the relationship that they lose their time with themselves, and that's very important.
Yeah. Okay. Fair. Yeah. But I've been on that end, by the way. So it's very painful, but I'm like, nah, never again. In fact, I've worked with two students of yours, basically, who've been on that end, and it's very, very painful, basically, for them. But like this probably brings up the concept. Like you, as men, we like it when the girl takes care of herself, when she's beautiful, right? Straight up attraction. Attraction. I'm talking about attraction, not like soulmates and all that. The attraction diminishes away when she becomes fat, when she stops taking care of herself. So it also goes the other way around. Let's probably say you give up your hobbies, you become a fat fuck, right? You're sitting on the couch all day, you're playing video games, you're letting the foot off the gas. I mean, if you like her when she's at her best, she's also gonna like you when you are at your best, and that's what you teach dudes to do, right? If that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, that's why I like going to the gym with my girlfriend. We're keeping each other in check. And, like we're going together, and okay, she has to wait for 30 minutes each time because her workout is a little shorter. But yeah,
Yeah,
so I think it's a cool idea when couples, when people in a relationship push each other a little bit. Not that they're pushing and like negging each other, but just you see you see your partner work out all the time. You're
yeah,
gonna start working out. I'm deeply into watches. And just my girlfriend didn't care about watches. She didn't understand why I collect watches, yeah. But she has seen so many, and I've showed her so many watches that she's getting her first watch soon because she's like, so she was like, hey, I really like that one. Hey, I might buy that one. Oh man, it's sort of like that, you see what
yeah.
your other side is doing, and you get inspired, whether that's gym or healthy eating or being a pothead. Yeah, you could drag the other side down as well, of course.
Yeah, yeah, no, and that also brings me to one thing, right? It creates that healthy jealousy plot line. Like so, Robert, you're a fairly desirable guy, right? No homo, by the way. So you're a fairly
Sure,
desirable
come
guy.
to Riga.
Yeah, okay. You're a fairly desirable guy. Let's probably say, right, you go to a club, okay, and as dudes, we don't notice the subtle cues when a girl is like flirting with us, basically. But let's probably say you're having a conversation with another girl, okay, just normal, healthy conversation with Signe by your side, right? And she sees the girl, like, let's probably say the other girl, like playing with her hair or like scratching her neck, etc., like with like a bit of a sparkle in the eye while she's talking to you. That's going to create a little bit of jealousy. Obviously, you don't do that on purpose, but that is going to add in some spice in the relationship, which is going to slightly test it in a good way, which is going to ensure that the relationship gets stronger over a given period of time. So, what's your take on that, basically? No,
I don't think it's healthy for people to get jealous because of things like that. Like
no, not
we're
like
here. We're
jealous in
to.
a toxic way, not jealous in a toxic way, because your
I
goal obviously.
understand, but it's sort of like it screams a bit of insecurity.
Yeah,
Like I don't know. Like I wouldn't flirt with a girl when my girlfriend's next to me,
yeah,
which
okay,
is a whole different topic of the conversation, much deeper than.
yeah,
But yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's worth going into these rabbit holes just because I think the whole concept of the healthy jealousy, I think there are better ways to improve our relationships. That could be by inspiring each other or whatever
oh,
than even thinking about healthy jealousy. I just think if we direct our brain power to more productive things, we can, I think, improve our relationships even more. Whether that's I don't know, things we do together, things we do separately, etc. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of the idea of
yeah.
but even if it's a healthy jealousy, I'm not a big fan of the idea.
Got it, got it, got it, got it. Okay, so we're not going to go into that now, Robert. I've got one last question, right? I know you're going to cringe at this topic. I know you're going to cringe at this topic. But what do you think as a guy compromises a guy's value, basically? Right? Can you just break down the components, just like a quick summary, and just brief on
Also,
each?
yeah, okay, what makes a guy's? It's called in the industry. It's called sexual market value. That's what you're asking. Yeah, what are the
Yeah,
components? Yeah. Yeah, sure. We can go into that. There's, you can find very different ideas about this online, but this is kind of what I see. What I see, if I prepared for this question, I would have kind of prepared, maybe like a bit more. I would have done a bit of writing to kind of really define this. But if I have to do this on the top of my head, I would say that the big things are going to be your communication skills, like how confident and able to communicate are you, which is something that can be learned. People don't understand this. You don't have to be a confident guy to be good at these things. Yeah. So I think that's a really, really big point. You can be a guy that's, a little on the fatter side and, like a shorter and, whatever your insecurities are, you can be that guy, but if you're really good communication skills and you're just, outgoing and cool guy and like it works without like you can skip everything else, it just works. There are some examples of this in the dating industry. There is a day game coach who's like, is we both had conversations about a lot of brown guys being insecure about their race, and I've had the same conversations with people from very different backgrounds, whether that's about their race, about their height, yeah. And this guy is overweight. He's not. I don't know. Is he brown? Is he not? I think you know who I'm talking about. And it's like he's really overweight, and so there would be a lot of like if someone else who looked like that, they would have a lot of insecurities. There's lots of insecurities for people. But this guy has such good communication skills. He just does amazing with women. Women love him.
is he
Yeah,
a
he's
brown
good
guy?
friends with.
Is he an Indian
Sorry.
guy? Is he a brown guy?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, one of the London guys. So so you can have so number one will definitely be your communication skills, but then you have your looks. You definitely have your looks. Looks are important, but it's easier to fix some parts of the looks, like your style and grooming, and then just be relatively in shape. It does help. Of course, we have how are you doing financially? That is sort of
Yeah.
important. Not in a way, hey, are you providing money and buying gifts for girls? No, that attracts the wrong type of girl. But are
Mm-hmm.
you able to take care of you and your family? Hey, will you actually be able to raise a kid, or will you have to get like a scooter stroller that has been used by five other people before and it's like a broken wheel? It's just like a basic stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, Empathy maybe, but no, empathy like
Let's jump into communication. Yeah.
your communication skills with the other person you're building a relationship with. I think that's very, very important. That could be called empathy or not. That's the one thing you cannot really learn. It's more of a like you either have it or not. I think it's a genetic thing. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know what else. Height, but that's
Yeah.
under looks and all of those things. Looks is one big thing consisting of multiple things, and just guys, just focus on the ones you can control. Don't worry about how tall you are, what's the color of your skin, or what your nose looks like. Look at my
Yeah.
huge nose, you know.
Likewise. Likewise. That you're
Yeah.
referring to that study which our mutual friend posted about a big nose, right? You know what I'm saying?
There was I didn't no, I don't remember, but it's probably in the chat, right?
Yeah, no, no, no. On Instagram, who is the guy, man? Who tests
Just
a
don't
lot
say
of
the name, just
yeah, yeah, of course. Who
yeah,
tests a lot of substances on himself, you know?
yeah.
Right. So yeah, yeah. You read that study about? Yeah, he posted a study that people with huge noses have like whatever, which I'm not going to talk about over here. So, but y'all can read between the lines.
Oh, that study.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
there you
the
go.
yeah,
Yeah,
there was the correlation about dick or something like that, right? There
yeah,
was
yeah,
like you
yeah.
actually found correlation. Yeah, all right. I posted it as well, I think.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So, yeah, this obviously summarizes it basically. Like, if you want genuine desire, you got to focus on these three things. I mean, status, etc. That just simply is like many, like many subsections are under these three big things. And a lot of dudes, right? They lack in communication, right? They lack in communication. And like one thing that I've noticed from you is when you speak on camera, you're really good with your tonality, right? Um, So you got like empathy. Is it because you've grown up with sisters and all of that, or what is it?
I don't know. I've been talking on stage, public speaking and things like that since I was like 16 years old or even younger, and I was in sales all of my life and over part of my life, and I've done a lot of things for a living where you have to understand people, and or maybe it's genetic. Maybe I did these things because I have empathy, and then I kind of moved into these fields because I just had that, and I just was good at them naturally because I had those genetics. I don't know whether empathy is learned or a genetic thing. I would probably guess it's genetic, but
Yeah,
don't know anything about it.
got it, got it, got it. All right, Robert, this was actually really, really awesome. Moral of the story is, if you're coming from a place where you got a poor dating life, first work on that for like 6 to 12 months, master that, and then master your value, like which is the way you look, your finances, having a cool life, being positive, etc. And then find the sweet spot between the two. If you're already a pretty boy, right, who's in good shape, like the Jersey Shore sort of a guy, you're like a pretty boy like Robert, basically, as you can probably see in the camera right there, right? But but if you're a pretty boy, basically, who's in good shape, etc., but running low on confidence when it comes when it comes to women, you might want to basically live like a degenerate for some time being. But if you're like an obese guy, get that shit sorted first, and then chase women. Otherwise, if you're gonna go around approaching and stopping women, the girls are gonna look at you like, ugh, like, get the hell out of my face. So yeah, that
Yeah.
exactly is the moral of the story. Uh, Robert, before we get off, I work with a lot of dudes helping them look good naked, but I would like you to add in your plugins over here because you're just doing a genuine service to men, helping them become desirable dudes in a healthy manner with a healthy relationship with women. So can you just let us know where can we find you? And I'm going to be plugging in your links below. Right. Where can we find you?
Yeah, very simple. So the thing is, I mostly work with people who know what day game is, who have, explored the internet a little bit, who have maybe gotten burned with some bad coaching experiences before. So I actually work with people who are informed about the industry. So I don't actually do content that's sort of like, hey, this is why it's really bad to do online dating and you should meet people, women on the street. Like I don't do a lot of content like that, but let's say you're someone who has no idea what any of this stuff means, like what even is day game, then just listen, go to my website, sign up to the mailing list, and you're gonna receive like an onboarding series of emails with some basic stuff that's simpler than what I do on my podcast. And if anything there seems like, hey, this sounds cool, I might do this, before jumping the gun and saying, hey, I really want to do this, just book a simple consult. Start with something simple, and I'm gonna explain you what it actually is, and we're gonna talk about, hey, is this actually doable for you, and how you can improve your dating life. So maybe if you don't know what any of this is, start with that. Yeah. On the other hand, if you know what I'm talking about, and you're like, hey, yeah, I've seen some dudes, but you are afraid. you're just dealing with the fear of approaching women. You're going to think, what if she rejects me? What if the conversation doesn't go anywhere? What if people around me really judge? What if my pants fall off? Everyone starts pointing their phones at me, filming me, and then I go viral and my Vogue boss fires me. Yeah, if these are your fears,
I'd like that,
uh, then then I'm doing a free webinar soon where I'm going to teach guys how to overcome these fears of approaching women, how to overcome approach anxiety in 1 month. It's going to be completely for free. People pay a lot of money to learn to overcome these fears, and I'm doing this stuff for completely for free, and that will probably also be linked in the description. So pick one and then, decide whether you like my approach to things.
Amazing, beautiful. I'm gonna be plugging the links in the bio below, right? And anything else that you'd like to add in, Robert? Are we good?
No, just thank you very much. I hope this was helpful. We discussed a lot of topics. We agreed on some things. We disagreed on some things. I think it's very important, interesting to have these conversations, especially for like very various audiences.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for your time. And
Oh, to the listeners, listen.
yeah,
If you're like listening to this and you're not working on your fitness or your dating, like what are you doing with your life? Like if you want to fix your date, if you want to, be in a good relationship by the time, whatever, like X years from now, yeah, and you know that you have to improve your dating and your fitness, like you're not getting younger, so pick one and get started. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but you're going to be moving in some direction and learning something. So don't postpone these things for like 5 more years until you're like whatever years old, because how long you've been thinking about starting to take action and watching videos and listening to podcasts. So
yeah. Fair, 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 fair. All right, that was really, really cool. That's it, man. That was yeah. You're gonna click
thank you
on
guys. Yeah.
yeah.